Some people in the comments said that was staged.
It pushed me way out of my comfort zone.
Definitely a career highlight for sure.
Maybe I am an Issa man.
Maybe you are.
I reckon this might be the year of meetups, so
Yeah.
watch this space.
One word, melons.
Melons!
That was.
I love melons. I don't even think I told you this. I found the original motor out of the Dirty 30. Well, Jocko,
Mate.
I just want to say, big cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Well done. Now, we're putting together a bit of a shed show with a difference. Now, of course, we're not in the shed. We're currently in Tasmania now, and we want to go through some of our best of moments for 2023 because that was a massive year, mate.
It was a massive year. We did some insane stuff. There was America, there was the Simpson Desert, there was Cape York, and pretty much everywhere in between. So
there was epic builds. We're going to look at some of the best cooking scenes, some of the best drives. There is so much to go through. Plus, there's a stack of questions from you guys as well, and also we've got some awesome prizes to give away. Now, just before we get right into it, Jocko, a lot of people do ask us, how do we support you guys?
yeah, well, the simplest way, the easiest way is to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It does make a huge difference.
It really does. We do appreciate all your support. Well, Jocko, let's kick right into it, mate. Get to some of our favourite moments of 2023. There has been so many. I'm going to start off with a big one, mate. Obviously, a career highlight for me, and I know a lot of you guys loved it as well. We went to America. I shipped the Dirty 30 across to the Northern Hemisphere, and the first track I drove, and I've got to say, this is a childhood dream of mine. Since I knew what the Rubicon Trail was, when I finally got to go and do it in my own vehicle, the Rubicon Trail, it was insane. Imagine, you would have loved it, Jocko. We have said this to you so many times because the first thing Graham and I thought when we finished that track, oh, Jocko would have liked that.
Yep.
Because it is slow, technical, off the absolute tap, rock crawling.
Perfect.
And obviously we did that. It was 4 days it took us to do that, and it's only like 30 kilometres of just the most insane rock crawling you'll ever do. And it actually pushed us beyond our limits. So we weren't ready for the size of these rocks. So keep in mind, the average vehicle probably runs 40-inch tyres over there. That's the average.
35's the small over there, but
our vehicles are small, like in comparison. Yet we wheeled all the hard stuff and had an absolute ball doing it, mate. And I did manage to roll the vehicle onto its side.
I saw that.
That was, you know what? I can look back at it now and say that was probably the best roll you could ever do in your life. It just sort of just teetered onto its side. We pushed it back over and off we went again. It's just one of those tracks that has everything, mate.
More just having a nap than having a roll. But,
exactly right. And of course, you joined us in the States.
Yeah, mate, you hit the nail on the head with starting off with America as one of the biggest highlights. That, again, as you said, a career highlight for you. It was for me. I came over and wheeled some stuff with you guys in Moab, which was, I mean, fun fact, that was actually the second time to Moab this year for me, because I went over for fun in January, did a bit of recon for what was to come, and
a bit of a holiday. That's it. How much you froth it, and you had a big year, mate. You really have. So obviously Moab's about to come out really soon.
Yep.
Do you reckon we can give the guys a bit of a sneak peek?
I reckon so, because it was insane. Like some of the stuff there,
I still have PTSD about that, mate. Like, because some of the steepest, most crazy things, you actually look at it and go, there's not a chance a four-wheel drive will be able to drive up a rock like that.
And it's like driving on sandpaper. The traction there is just something you don't get in Australia. So if you put the steepness of those hills here, you'd be...
No, you couldn't drive it.
You'd be temporary.
There's not a chance you could drive it. But obviously we had a good crack at that. Let's show the folks back at home.
Yep.
Well, a little sneak peek of what we got up to.
Hey, there he is.
We're in Moab, and I'm in a Jeep.
I can't believe we're here. We're finally doing it, mate. Far out! Far out! That gets a wind up ya!
That is insane.
You know what? Roller coasters don't go to Moab.
I just had so much traction then.
Woohoo! I'm so... I don't know where to go. That's... it's scary.
Oh my goodness, that doesn't do anything confidence. Now, I've been to Cape York a lot of times, right? I've been to Cape York a stack. However, we were the first vehicles to drive the old telly track.
This season?
This season, the very first. Now, I was told that 4 vehicles had done it before us. Now, they probably had, but they did a lot of bypass tracks. So all the real big challenges, we were absolutely the first one. So Palm Creek, you know how steep that is, right? When we got there was no signs of any vehicle had been down there. It didn't even look like it was drivable. And that's the first challenge. It's not the time to turn around either, because you've just driven 2,000 k's to get there.
You're into it. Yeah, it's time.
So we went and did that. We had to winch ourselves into Cockatoo Creek before we started.
Wow.
Now, didn't want to swim around that one because we know that what lives in there could be crocodiles in there. So it was raining really fast, and luckily I've driven that a bunch of times, but I knew which way to drive it. So I was like, if I didn't know which way to drive it, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this. And it was so deep, so fast flowing, and we made it. And that Cape York trip has got to go as one of the better ones.
It's pretty special that, you know, as you said, the amount of times you've done Cape York and be the first three for the season. That's definitely, I'm sure, a highlight for the amount of times you've been up there. I reckon one highlight for me, probably at the other end of the country, was Jesse and I got to go to Victoria and muck around in there, and Jesse got to take his Junker GQ patrol, and I was in the big pony, and we wheeled so much in Victoria. We were there for about a week, and we did the high country. We did around Woods Point. We did Talangi, Tallarook. We did a whole bunch of others.
Classics.
Cobalt. We did pretty much everything we could, and it was awesome.
I did see that show, mate, and you guys both drove very, very well.
We had fun. We had so much fun.
It looks a lot. A couple of mates go and do some tough wheeling in the right rigs that are very capable. Those shows have certainly been a hit, mate, and I know those guys out there absolutely love it.
It's just a couple of mates in the bush having fun, breaking cars and fixing them. It's really enjoying it.
Now, while I was on the topic of Cape York, I just want to say that towards the latter part of the year, we filmed my very first fishing adventure show. Now, that was one of the biggest highlights for me. Now, you guys haven't seen that yet. That's coming up very soon on YouTube. And when I say it was wild, is probably the biggest understatement of the year. Put it this way, nearly every four-wheel drive challenge basically was a decision we could lose our vehicle right now.
Hectic.
Every single one. We're going through, and I took my 200 series, mind you.
That would have been the perfect vehicle in the Cape, mind you. That is a Cape Tourer.
It was very heavy, but it was perfect at towing. And towing we did, because I towed a side-by-side up. We also towed, went up there and towed a tinny with an off-road trailer.
Soot doing some towing.
Towing, mate. You see the big towing mirrors on her.
Jack of all trades.
We had the big mud flaps on the back as well, the big rock tamers. Yeah, exactly. And both were set up for that sort of purpose. And when I say it was tough to get to where we wanted to get to, I mean, that was... You need to see it, folks, and you'll see it real soon. Now, if it's okay with you, mate, let's cross over to our mate, Graham. Now, he has done a stack of trips, obviously with us as well, but also he's done a bunch of off-grid stuff.
He has. He's been loving it.
He's having a great year. So let's hear from Graham and see what his highlights for 2023 were.
Hey, Jocko, Sean, hope you boys are doing well. 2023, what a bloody year. Can't go past mentioning America. What an absolute highlight. I mean, for me, that was a dream come true, but being able to experience it for the time we didn't over the different terrains that we went, blew my mind. Highlight of America, probably the camp we had in Colorado up at 4,000 metres. There were these blooming marmots in camp running around, big fat things that look like squirrels that have never been on a diet. Incredible bears came into camp, got to wheel the Rubicon Trail. I won't go on. Off-grid this year has been mammoth. I was going to try and pick my favourite moment. I can't because there's been so many, but let me just run you through a couple. First and foremost, the camp we did was only one night. Wish we could have stayed more. Way out north in the middle of the Nullarbor. No one ever goes out there. The expansive views in the night sky had to be seen to be believed. The whole Eyre Peninsula. I've raved on about it enough. Chuck that one on your bucket list and go and do it. One final highlight, and it's one that's probably going to surprise you, and it's the one I'm finishing right now. Today is my last day. In fact, you're not going to see this one till next year, so you're going to have to hang in there for it. But this has been the most eye-opening and surprising trip I've done on off-grid, full stop. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but let me just say I've literally travelled a stretch of gravel road right under everyone's noses, and I never thought to come here. I'll be back though. Folks, hope you have a fantastic Christmas coming up. See you real soon.
Well, Graham has certainly had a big year, mate, as well.
He has.
And it looks like a lot of fun. How do you reckon you'd go on one of those off-grid shows?
I reckon I'd really love it. Yeah, I reckon they look a bit, don't take this the wrong way, Graham, but they just look a bit easier. Like, you got a nice caravan, you can chill out, you can look at some sights, you can make a nice coffee in the morning.
I was going to say, you're not old enough to tow a caravan, and I don't know any of your cars could actually pull one. But.
No, they absolutely, I do not own a vehicle that doesn't have the horsepower, so I might need to ride shotgun with Graham, and I don't know if he'd love that.
They do look a lot of fun. I wouldn't tell him that, but they do look a lot of fun. Now, if we go to the other end of the scale, mate, let's hear from Jesse, because I know Jesse has done some tough wheeling, a lot with you this year, and he's had a massive year as well, mate. Let's hear from little fella himself.
2023, what a year. I've got to tell you guys my best moments, and I'll tell you what, this is a hard one. I'm going to struggle. Starting off with the trip to Victoria with Jock. Jock was in the pony, I was in my junk car, and I tell you what, that's probably one of the funnest trips I've ever done with Jock. I think one, because I was in my car, but the weather, it was snowing, it was raining, then it was sunny. We drove mud, we drove rocks, we drove big high country hills. We even stayed in a hut. What's next? I did a couple of trips with Jocko. We finally got Daryl on the pony back together, and just quietly, every trip Daryl's been on this year, he's made it home under his own steam because he's been in the Mr. Patrol shed. So, you know what? Some of those trips, we broke stuff, we found new tracks, we drove new tracks, we really pushed their limits. They were so much fun to make. I hope you guys enjoyed watching them. There's a little secret I'm going to tell you guys. I've just got back from a trip. You're probably not going to see it till next year. And I wasn't in the car that you guys have ever seen before. None of my cars, none of the work cars. We got a new one. And it's a big travel show. It's probably the most fun travel show I've ever been on. Anything that could go wrong, did go wrong. But can't wait to show you guys that one. It's going to be epic. And how could I forget the Mighty GU? This thing was the best chassis at the start of the year. My yard didn't even have grass. If you've been watching, it was gravel. There's been some moments, there's been some milestones, but this thing is so close to being on the road, and I hope you guys are as keen for me to see this thing on the tracks next year. It's been a big process, but it's been worth every minute. That pretty much sums up my 2023. We did some pretty cool stuff in the shed, did some pretty wild trips, and I'll tell you what, there were some pretty new breakages. I've never seen things like that break before. You thought 23 was big, 24 is going to be even bigger, and I'm keen as to share it with you guys.
Always good to hear from Jesse. He's frothing. And I love that. He's just one of the most passionate four-wheel drivers you'll ever meet in your life. Yeah. And that GQ or whatever it is, he's building up. I mean, that's going to be all right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's putting that, is it a Volkswagen engine in it or something?
That BMW one. I think he's grabbed the leather seats out of a BMW or something.
Yeah, something like that. That's a big conversion.
It's going to be so cool, that rig. And like, the fact that he's done it all himself in the shed, and he's like, you know, as far as I'm concerned, he's making one of the better builds I've seen this year.
Big time.
Now, you see this prize package behind me, it all could be yours for only $30. Marta Cars for Cancer are giving you the opportunity to win all of this plus over $32,000 worth of gold bullion, making this total prize package worth $330,000. Now, it's a Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series. It's the GR Sport as well, the top of the range model, and it's towing a Zone RV Sojourn family caravan. And it could all be yours for just $30. And just remember, every single ticket sold is helping to fund vital cancer research and patient care at Marta. So you're also helping the community out, and you got the chance to win an amazing prize that can literally take you just about anywhere in Australia in comfort and style. Now simply head to carsforcancer.com.au, get your entries in quick because tickets are limited and entries do close on the 13th of January 2024. Good luck.
We've got some huge deals going at the moment on these Tread GT storage boxes. Right now, you can get the 65 litre box and the 25 litre box for 25% off. These things are unreal. You can tie them down and it doesn't affect the lid opening. The seal here is totally weatherproof. We've had them on the roof of utes, on the back of cars, in the dust, in the mud, in the rain. It lets nothing in, works so well. But if you don't want to buy two boxes, you want to buy one, you can get the Tread 65 litre storage box, and totally free of charge, you can get one of these Snatch clear top bags. Fits in the box perfect. You can be totally organised when you get to camp. This deal won't last long, so make sure you snap it up super quick over on fulldrive247.com.
But of course, our audience have got a bit of a say in the matter of their favourite moments for the year. So if it's okay with you, mate, let's go through some of those.
Yeah, let's do it, because there's some crackers here.
There really is. The first cab off the rank, mate, this one's from Ulu 0001.
Ulu01.
Yeah, and the Daintree Rainforest adventure. That's where we took on an old stock route that hadn't been driven in, I think, 40 years. It's the way we actually opened up Cape York for this year. We went straight there, hooked up with our mate PJ, and that guy's a wild bugger, I'll tell you what. He really is, mate, and I love hanging out with that bloke. He's as real as they get. He's a bloke who uses chains on his tyres to get up his own driveway. He's lived up off the Creb track for as long as, you know, anyone can remember, and this bloke took us in this crazy track and we didn't even know we were going to get through, and obviously you guys loved it. I think it was one of the fastest shows of the year to crack 1 million views. It happened in no time at all because it was just pure adventure, mate, and we didn't know what to expect. We went in there, and one thing was certain, mate, it was one of the most beautiful parts of the country I've ever been to.
Yeah, right.
Catching jungle perch, and jungle perch, if you're a fisho, you know that they only live in the most pristine waterways, and
that's a bream, isn't it?
Similar to that, but yeah, it's little JPs. We'll catch them collecting those just straight out of camp. We were, you know, it felt like we were pioneering, which we were. We're opening an old stock route, like I said. It hadn't been driven in 40 years.
Yeah, wow, that's cool.
It was super cool, mate. And that was our start of our Cape York adventure.
Well, mate, there's one here that I've had my eye on here from Jared_B, and his one word, melons.
Melons.
That was.
I love melons. What are you thinking?
That was different things, I think, mate. We're I was in the Simpson Desert when I decided it'd be funny to hide paddy melons and all of Graham's stuff.
I remember you told me this idea because behind the scenes, we were coming up with a bit of a plan. Well, Jocko was coming up with a bit of a plan. He put everyone in on it to go and find melons, fill the cars up with melons, and then we'll just completely put melons through everything he owned.
Yep.
Now, I didn't realise how far you'd take it.
Yeah, I went a fair way. We're in the desert for a while and I was collecting melons for days. In fact, the joke was kind of on me because I had to carry the melons for that whole time.
It was good though.
I personally love melons. I don't know what he's whinging about. Melons are good.
Now, what about this one, the USA Land Cruiser Factory? Now, some of you guys would have seen this on social media, maybe some footage that we showed on Beers in the Shed. Lucky enough to go to the Land Cruiser Museum in Utah. It is, if you love Land Cruisers, in fact, if you like any motor vehicles in general, you love this place, but especially if you love Land Cruisers like me, I was in heaven, mate. I went down there and saw some of my favourite rigs, but to see some of these cool old rigs with like 100 kilometres on the clock from factory that are like 40, 50-year-old Land Cruisers.
It's amazing,
mind-blowing.
Yeah, like I'm not I'm a Hilux man through and through, but I had to say, well, because I went there in January too for fun with some mates, and walking through that place was spectacular. If you're ever in Salt Lake City,
check it out. It was just unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. That place was super cool, so totally get that one, mate. It is one from Coatsy, mate.
Coatsy.
It was me getting a photo with a Dirty 30 on the edge of a cliff face. Now, that pretty much reminds me of most of the US because all their tracks are on cliff edges.
Yeah, they just like high tracks. So that was at top of the world, was it, or a different one?
No, that was at Poser Rock in Colorado.
That suits you.
They call it Poser Rock because you drive up this crazy thing and there's this rock that juts out. There is a 1,000-foot drop on the other side, and you've got to drive your vehicle up there and get a photo with it. And look, it's the greatest photo ever, but to get the vehicle into that place, I mean, I had to push a few boundaries on that one.
I know you and heights, mate. That would have been interesting.
It was horrible, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, it pushed me way out of my comfort zone.
Yep.
But that photo, I'm going to say, I've got it up in the shed wall, and it's an absolute cracker. I love that. I love that photo. One of the best photos, I reckon, for the year for me.
And of course, there were plenty of other awesome moments this year. One in particular was hitting 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Who would have ever thought? We're just a couple of blokes who love our four-wheel driving. When we started this YouTube channel, we had no idea it was going to be so popular. 1 million subscribers. There's 1 million nutcases just like you and me, mate, out there.
Insane. I can't believe my mum's paying you all that money to watch the stuff we do.
It's been big, mate. It's been really big, and we still need to celebrate that 1 million subscribers in a big way. Now, I reckon we need to do a bit of a meetup. We've talked about this before, but it's got to happen. Do you reckon a few people will come?
Yeah, I reckon. Maybe at your place. You reckon?
My place might not be big enough, mate. I'm thinking maybe like the Cape York Peninsula or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere quite large, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure out that. But I just want to take this moment as well to thank every one of you for supporting our channel and, of course, subscribing. I know there's a lot of people that watch it, but those guys that actually just press the subscribe button, I want to say big thumbs up to you guys, hey? And what about this one here from Party Ranger 97? You guys and Donut Media was so good. Now, in the YouTube world, I think they call it a collaboration. We did our first collaboration.
A collab with the guys from Donut.
That was awesome, mate.
It was so much fun, and meeting those guys from the other side of the world, they had a ball. They lent into it. That we showed them. I mean, they didn't just stop with us. They did a whole bunch of stuff around checking out the car scene in Australia.
They really did. Yeah.
And this is obviously quite a big part of the car scene in Australia. So we got to take them out
straight away. They literally just got off a plane from the US and jumped in Sooty, the Pony, and Daryl. And we took them up a pretty hard track in the Wattigans. Now, what I thought was amazing. So the boys were there. They were going to World Time Attack. It's like a racing thing. One of the boys was driving a 1,000 horsepower Nissan Skyline around a track the next day, yet he was petrified of jumping in Sooty and driving up that track.
Insane.
And it goes to show these guys do a lot of fast stuff, but they probably don't do a lot of the really technical, tough four-wheel driving. And those guys had such an awesome time. They were smiling, laughing, having a great day.
Do you reckon Sooty has as much power as a GTR?
No.
No, I don't reckon so.
But that's a crazy thing. For people that aren't used to going in four-wheel drive tracks and doing the tough stuff, it's amazing like how much adrenaline can get built up when you're doing about 3 k's an hour in first gear, low range, and driving up something sketchy. And
for sure.
The whole day was just an absolute blast. We had so many laughs, mate.
And of course, mate, they didn't just stop with us. They also went out with the legends from Mighty Car Mods, Marty and Moog, and they are the second best four-wheel driving channel in the country, mate.
So they got to see the first and the second.
Yeah, so they got to show it how it's done, and then they got to go out and hang with those guys.
Oh, it was really cool. We had so much fun together, and we should actually do a collab with Mighty Car Mods.
I reckon it'd be
just
fun.
Between you and me. Imagine doing a challenge where we both have to build cars that have to go off-road and on a racetrack.
Yeah, and I reckon we'd towel them up too. So
challenge has been put. Challenge being put. Here's another one. What about having beers with the boys in Moab? This one is from Trait Daniels.
We did a meetup.
We did a meetup in Moab. Now, you got to keep in mind, it's the middle of summer in Moab. So it's like going to the Simpson Desert in summer. No one goes there. We planned our calendar probably a bit wrong when you look back at it. And we thought, we'll do a meetup in Moab. I was so surprised how many people rocked up.
Mate, some people, a lovely couple came from New Jersey to Moab, and that, to put it in perspective, that's like going from Perth to
Sydney.
Brisbane or to Sydney to go to a pub and meet some people.
That is crazy. There was people that came from right across the states. There would have been a couple hundred people in there.
Yeah.
We had a really fun night with those guys. And
shouted us a few beers. I had a couple of beers.
We've done a couple of little meetups, just spontaneous meetups this year. We did one in Kagari, Fraser Island, and I thought that was awesome. A lot of people turned up to that one at Orchard Beach, and I think we should do more this year. I reckon this might be the year of meetups, so watch this space. Anyway, let's get on to something that I love, mate, building cars. I know you do too.
I froth on it.
We've had some pretty cool builds this year.
We have, mate. We have. The highlight one for me would have to be that 1982 Hilux I'm restoring with my good mate Damo down in Adelaide.
You've done any work on that yet or what?
Yeah, a lot. Heaps. Mainly watching Damo.
But he's very good at what he does.
He is. He's a master of his craft, and it's actually truly been an honour to work under him and a privilege and learn. And that vehicle, when it's done, is going to be beautiful. It's going to be the pride of my fleet of old, slow Hiluxes.
That's really cool to hear, mate. That's really cool. Now, the opposite of a slow Hilux, let's talk about a Land Cruiser for 2 seconds. So, I built up my grandpa's spec FT80 and obviously gave that to my wife. You might have seen the episode. Now, the cool thing I did with that, and I never told her about this, is I made that into a fire-breathing diesel, 300 horsepower FT, and that thing is absolutely insane. I still try and steal the keys off it every chance I get. It is so nice to drive. The auto's been all rebuilt, and the motor, mate, has got so much torque and power. It is so responsive to drive. It is one of the most fun vehicles I've ever owned.
So what you're saying is your wife has a Land Cruiser that has more power than all of your Land Cruisers.
More comfortable, in better condition, and maybe even more capable.
Don't ever drive it. Let her keep it.
I know, that's why it's in one piece and not on this track at the moment, mate. But another build I'm in the middle of as well is I'm bringing back the OG Dirty 30.
So that'd be cool.
Exactly. That's a bit of a slow burner one, mate. A bit like your Hilux. When I say the vehicle is in pieces, you can't get a vehicle in any more pieces. It is literally just the cab at the moment. That's been fully restored as we speak. It's been sandblasted. We went with the sandblast. It's been all the bodywork done. It's going to be absolutely mint as well. Plus, I bought another 60 series that has the 12HT. So I'm going to use that chassis, that 12HT, and I've been finding parts of the original Dirty 30 scattered around Australia because people keep putting their hand up and saying, "Hey mate, I've got your old bull bar. Do you want it back?" And I was like, "You're kidding me. My original old bull bar off that thing. I've got it back." Get this right. I don't even think I told you this. I found the original motor out of the Dirty 30. The original one. It's up in Cairns.
Wow.
So the original 12HT is coming. So if I'm going to do some sort of swap with that, I might even get the original rebuilt 12HT back.
Give him the other one or something like that.
Something like that. I'll figure it out. But I'm starting to get pieces for that, and it's all coming together, finding different panels and all sorts of jazz. But that'll come together, and I just want to make that a bit of a homage to the original Dirty 30 because that kicked off my career, and it's probably financially the worst idea I've ever had in my life, but it means so much to me. And to have that vehicle back, I don't know, it's that little body that I've sat 400,000 Ks in, I reckon. It can tell a lot of stories, so I can't wait to have that back in the shed and drive with the original 12HT. I reckon it's going to be a really cool build.
Yep. And of course, mate, the builds didn't stop at old OG vehicles. Of course, Graham built the Jeep in the US. We've got Jesse's GU build. He's been putting that together in his shed.
That's a really cool build. I like that one. He's done well with that. And of course, you did the big N70,
I built
mate.
an N70. That's that. Speaking of you're having a chop at me for having a vehicle with no horsepower, that thing.
Flies.
Oh yes, it flies. Tommy and the boys at and the team at Performance Tourers put turbo injectors, sorted the auto out. That
was
thing
it KJZ 8B?
No, it's a 1KD, mate. It's KUN 26 Hilux. Yeah, 2009.
KB.
KU.
You stir him up, bang, hook, line and sinker. I got him. No, but those things do actually go really well.
It goes hard.
Yeah, you change the turbo on that, all sorts of jazz.
Yeah. It's got a little 44mm turbo on there. I say little.
You think what I'm thinking? Do you want to race?
Yeah.
With my FT8 or Sab's FT80?
Well, I might need a little bit more power than that. So, Tommy, if you're watching, mate, let's give it a bit more of a boogaloo and I'll race it.
Let's see if we made that Hilux beat an 80 series. Probably never going to happen.
Probably will, without struggling. It might blow a diff, but
it'll do all right.
It won't.
Yeah, Jocko, how could we forget the cooking scenes?
The highlights of a trip, mate. Your delicious cooking.
Sometimes they can be. And for some reason, I've got no idea. I try and run a very serious kitchen when I'm in the back of my four-wheel drive. And you guys just think it's funny. And you think it's all one big joke.
Well, mate, you got to look at it from our perspective. You are a professional chef, and we are just a bunch of blokes that just come and help you. So, of course, it's going to be funny.
Mate, I think if we're here for our audience for just 2 seconds, the first one I see from J Meta 19, the one with the sausages.
Yep.
Why does everyone like a good old recipe of sausage? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why they love a good old sausage recipe. It's because they are super easy to make and they're cheap.
Right. I thought it was you in particular like sausage recipes.
I do because it's cheap and easy. Yep. That's one of the reasons why I cook curried sausages. Cooked some curried sausages for our mates in the States. So I thought, I'm coming to the US. Now, they wanted me to cook a fair dinkum Aussie meal. And I thought, I'm going to cook a bit of curried sausages. Yeah, it turns out their sausages are a bit weird over there. They were too big and they were hard to handle. But apart from that, mate, it turned out really good. And the boys, I don't know if they'll cook it again, but I think
liked it?
They were stoked to have a bit of a culinary delight.
Americans are very polite. You sure they weren't just eating it out of
No, all the boys loved it. All the boys loved it. So, and we did a few really cool ones in the US where I cooked some salmon up and all sorts of stuff. I did some cool cooking over there. Here we go. Look. Beer, chicken emoji. Yep. So, Jocko, you probably looking at a can like this and you'll never look at it the same, mate.
No, I'll never look at a chicken the same either.
But honestly, it's one of the best things. Try it, guys, and it'll be one of the juiciest chickens you'll ever have.
It was a juicy chicken.
It really was. They were yummy. Yeah. Shauno's chili recipes.
Yeah.
The off lamb. This is off chicken and lamb.
Off chicken slash lamb.
Everyone's still alive. We haven't cooked any off chicken just yet.
Don't cook off chicken. Yeah. And Rome for low, the sour smelling meat that y'all still ate, so they're probably American.
They're probably American, and it wasn't sour smelling. It just had a bit of a tang to it.
It had a bit of a...
Yeah, exactly right.
7-day-old lamb in the stew you made with that old lamb that smelled...
7 days past its use, or best before date, which is the big difference there.
Yeah, there is.
And look, I was a bit sketched out by that one because usually if it's past that date, I don't take any risks. But out there, we're at the edge of our supplies.
Yeah.
And I thought it was too good to waste. And so we cooked it up. And I tell you what, one of the best lamb stews I've ever made in my life.
It was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. And I don't know if it was the fact that there wasn't much food left. It was going to be delicious.
It was aged, I guess.
It was dry aged lamb. I don't know if that's a thing, but
it wasn't dry, but it was aged.
It was wet aged lamb.
For me, another highlight, this is one of those ones. Sometimes I come up with a crazy idea to cook and you think to yourself when you're halfway through, this could all go pear-shaped and we might be eating tins of tuna for dinner. I did a pork spit up in the Cape. And I made my own spit, mate.
Wow,
and so,
that's cool.
And be honest with you, it came out really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds mad.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be a shed episode if we didn't have some awesome prizes to give away. Our mates over at 4X actually have got a bunch of merch packs we can give away, mate. Now, the way you're going to win one of those is simply jump into the comments and let us know about your best personal four-wheel drive experience for 2023. Now, I know you guys get out and about and do some really cool stuff, so let us know the highlight of your four-wheel drive year.
And of course, mate, we're kicking off 2024 in a big way, and we have some awesome stuff coming up. Like, for example, now, we're in Tasmania.
Where are we now? Tasmania.
We are on the west coast of Tasmania.
You can tell because you've got a beanie, a jumper on, and my legs are about to go blue because they're so cold out here. This is Tassie in summer. awesome four-wheel driving tracks. We have done some real big name ones. There's been a lot of action over the last few weeks. Have a look at the vehicles. They are looking pretty second-hand, and you'll get to see soon exactly why, mate.
And Tassie's not all. We've got some awesome new places to go to this year. We're going back to America.
We've got the Kimberley, we've got Cape York, we've got some tough tracks, plus I've got some stuff that I can't even share. It's that top secret, mate.
Ooh.
So it's going to be a really big year as well. If you thought 2023 was big, 2024 is going to blow it out of the water. Well, Jocko, of course, a lot of cool stuff happened, but we got submitted some really cool things from your shed this year. So we're going to run through some of the best moments from you guys, and let's start off with fails, Jocko. Now, I want to let you lead this one, Jocko, being the king of fails yourself.
Being the king of fails, not just in a four-wheel drive, with women, with everything, mate. So there's been some crackers this year. This first one from Toby Sibthorpe.
Yep.
His brakes let go right at the top of a hill, and look at this. Down I go. Yeah, wild. Absolutely wild.
Now this one here from Daniel White. Who could forget this one here? He's nearly rolled his car on the same glasshouse track that Graham rolled the D-Max on, the red one. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Because some people actually said that was staged. They go, oh, you guys must have staged that. No, see, even Daniel nearly did the exact same thing. And Daniel and Graham, you guys should hang out together, mate. You're like kindred spirits.
Definitely. And then we've got this absolute cracker from Pack It Up, Pack It In.
Yeah.
Let me begin.
Did
we use our recovery gear on Kagari? So they got a flat battery and couldn't get onto the barge at Kagari. That is a fail.
That's right. Imagine going on the barge and you can't even get off it because you've got a flat battery.
Yeah.
That's so embarrassing. So I look, I feel for you. I was just the other day, I was at a servo in Tasmania, and I was saying g'day to some fans of the show. Went to take off and give it a little rev. Wouldn't start. Had to get them to come back out of the servo, push footy, get it started. It's always embarrassing when you have to.
I had to jumpstart the pony in a KFC car park.
It's good to see that. We're not too proud to say we fail a heck of a lot.
All the time.
And you guys as well.
And mate, that's not all. We had LC80 Mitch did some hectic repairs on Fraser Island. He's going to need it after that. But
there's been a couple on Fraser.
There's been a few things that
for
were going on at Kagari.
How can people fail so much? I'll tell you what, I like to see it though. What about Wish Ranger 14? You remember that one? Got a little bit too stuck in the water and even got a fish in their intercooler. That's when you know you're stuck. When you get a fish in your intercooler,
nice to know your car's a better fisho than you are, I reckon. Yeah.
Bang, got
him. Yeah. And of course, mate, we got this one from Jack Wade. Now, from memory, that looks like out at Lithgow.
Yeah. And the vehicle is not on its wheels anymore.
No, it is not. So that is less than ideal, but the good news is he's okay. So that's always a plus.
There's this one from Victoria Four-Wheel Drive Touring. Now, what a way to fail, mate.
Mate, he went down that hill at a rate of knots.
I know, when the brakes give out, those clay tracks, you've been out of Victoria recently, you know how slippery it can be. Big fail. And finally, mate, Andy.Kate 4x4. Now, who could forget this one when they went out for just a casual day of four-wheel driving?
Yes, you do.
Ended up getting bogged, 5 hours worth of winching, 3 cars bogged. It seems like a typical day in our shoes, mate.
Yeah, pretty standard for us. That's not a fail. That's
a good day. That's a good day out in the tracks.
Big time.
That's just a normal day. But no, that's when it all just goes pear-shaped. You're supposed to go for a leisurely drive and you end up in one of the biggest recoveries.
Custom,
exactly right.
And mate, we got this one from Do It in the Dirt. That looks like a Hilux. That looks like a Hilux cab, and rolled it on Little Red. I think I know exactly where he would have binned it to.
Yeah, can I just say those guys do some really tough wheeling.
Do it in the dirt?
They do it in the dirt, and they do it really well. And this time, not so well though, with the big Hilux. So now we have to pick a winner, mate. So, how are we going to do that?
For me, it's got to be Jack Wade with his roll with what looks like out Lithgow. It looks like he did some damage to the vehicle too, which you never want. So,
well, here's the consolation prize, mate. You didn't just fail. You're being seen by thousands, if not millions of people on our YouTube channel. But the good news is you've just won a 4X merch pack. So that's coming your way. Well done, Jack Wade. You've hopefully you don't do that again, because that looks expensive.
Don't do that again. Now, of course, if you want to show off your fail, the best way to do it, mate, is hashtag Full Drive 24/7 fails on Instagram, TikTok, or you can also share it on our official Facebook group.
Yeah, and why not? If you're going to fail, you may as well share it with the world and maybe win a prize. Now we get to check out a few rigs. I love seeing a tidy rig, mate.
Love a good rig.
And there's been some really good ones submitted this year. So let's just run through a couple that we thought were some of our favourites.
Straight up, mate, we've got the big Barra G60. This thing is beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There is so much time and effort going into that one, mate, and it goes like the absolute clappers. Now, I'm not a decent man, but I can appreciate a good build. But this Barra Barra shorty as well. There's a thing with, I think, every Nissan I've seen that's any good has a Barra motor.
Yeah, it's because they take the engine out that Nissan put in from factory and then they put in a
Ford motor.
Yeah,
I get it, a taxi motor.
An upgrade.
Oh, we're rude, aren't we?
Yeah.
But that is one of the nicest shorties I have ever seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. Done a really good job on that resto. And of course with the Barra, all that power. Imagine that in a little shorty.
Oh, it'd go hard. But mate, Jet Harch has a beast of a solid axle swapped N70.
Yeah,
Brother.
nice one.
Yep. That is an absolute beast. And of course, mate, their N70s are a good car to solid axle swap because they're quite wide cab and they're quite long. So you put some decent diffs under them. They wheel pretty hard. They're good all-rounder, ultimate tough tourer.
Yeah, right, nerd. Yeah. Yep. What about, I'm going to go for a completely different extreme. This is Lawson's rig. Now, it just deserves a little mention because I love the little tackers having a crack, mate.
Yeah, good on him.
He's absolutely stoked. Look, big thumbs up.
Looks like Dad's GU behind as well.
Yeah, nice little thing, mate. And
Good on him.
This last one here at Maverick Chesney. And that's a cool looking Pajero.
Probably one of the best Pajeros I've seen, to be honest.
Without a doubt, it's gorgeous. And I've always been a long fan, a bit of a closet fan, I guess you'd say, of Pajeros.
A closet fan of a lot of things, mate.
Because I do like them. I reckon they represent great value for money, and they're a good rig. And when they're modified like that, hell yeah, I'll take one of those all day long.
Big time. We've got Just Winging It. Now, I, as you know, have a soft spot for Defenders, and this thing is so well built. It's really nice. It's a good tourer.
It's just
it goes
tidy,
pretty
isn't
much everywhere. Look, he's at Dead Horse Gap there as well. He gets out and uses it, which is what you love to see, because most Land Rovers spend a lot of their time in the shed. But that one, he's getting out and using it. I want one. I want a Land Rover.
Yeah, I'm going to go to this 80 series. The Cruising Cruiser 80 series, that rings a bell for me because I remember that one. It had a really cool touring setup, mate. And again, they get used. This is what's cool about it. You can build a tidy rig, there's no doubt about it. But if you get out and use it for what it's built for, there's extra points in my opinion,
Shed time
mate.
over seat time every day. No, seat time over shed time is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And Brandy Petroleum, mate, this is a clean. I've been following this vehicle on Instagram since it was a wagon. It was a clean wagon. He chopped it and did an amazing job. This thing is an absolute cracker of a touring rig. And as you can see, he gets out and uses it just like everyone else does in this. And he's done a fantastic job.
Yep. And now I'm in the mood to, I've really started to grow on the old Nissan GQs.
Yes,
They are weapons. I've seen Tony's wheel some amazing tracks, and Daryl is obviously a little weapon as well. Now this one here, if you just had one of the best GQs you can get, I reckon it would be a GQ Ute, build it up really nice. Check this one out from Jesse Budge.
That's what you get. That's what you get. If you built the ultimate GQ Ute, that's what you get.
It's really good, mate. Right, but there can only be one winner.
There can
one
be.
winner to win a 4X merch pack. It's going to be a tough one. Now, you're thinking I'm going to go for the 80 series, and normally I would, mate. It might be the Tassie weather that's affecting me. I'm actually going to go for Jesse Budge with that GQ. It's just gorgeous.
You're a Nissan man at heart, mate, and that is a fantastic vehicle. So
maybe I am a Nissan man.
Maybe you are.
Maybe I'm coming out right now. I don't know, but
maybe you're coming out as a Nissan person. Yeah.
Not at all. But I'll tell you what, I just love a really clean, good build that gets used. And Jesse, mate, that rig is an absolute weapon. So congratulations, you won a merch pack. But don't forget, if you've got a cool rig, and I know so many of our audience do have really cool rigs sitting at home, just simply hashtag us in it. So 4WD 24/7 rigs will get you a spot maybe on our shed show, and you can win a cool prize as well. So we'd love to see your rig. Send them in to us, and make sure you also share that on TikTok, Instagram, and of course Facebook, and that way we can find out what rig you got, and maybe, like I said, you might win a prize. We started a new segment last time because I saw some little tackers were making some cool Lego rigs. Check out some of these that have been submitted, mate.
This one's from Braden, mate. That is a Dirty 30 replica by looks of it. It's even got the canopy
exactly
doors
like
that open.
That is really, really cool.
Look, it drives like you too. It's on the side.
On the side.
Yeah.
That's extra points for that one. That is really cool. It flexes better than the thing. Look at the flex on that thing. Gee.
What a rig.
How's this one here? This is cool. I love it. The detail is so cool in these little Lego things.
Look, that's a proportional size of Graham.
That's actually a life size. Yeah, a life size Graham Cahill. That's a G60, of course. It looks like the Dirty 30. Probably recovering it, no doubt.
It looks like you're cooking there too.
Yeah, I know. That's really, really cool.
Mate, this is from Daniel, this one.
This is from Daniel. Now look at the level of detail on this thing. It's flexing out. It's cool. I think that's a little Raptor, if I'm not mistaken, mate.
Yeah, and look, it's flexing like a weapon.
Very cool. Now here we go.
Ah, the tow rig.
From Darcy, mate. He's got the Dirty 30 with the camping setup on the go.
Yep. And he's got you and me wheeling some rocks.
Rocks, of course. That's what we do. And we've got Graham off grid. He's towing an old caravan.
Yeah, he's towing. Look, he's sitting there in his caravan. Is he having a shower there? What's going on?
Oh, far out. Again, a life-size Graham Cahill.
Yeah, it is. Wow, you kids are really getting his height right on this.
I think that was pretty cool, mate. Seeing some of the little tin lids have a crack at making some cool little replicas of our vehicle with their Legos. Now, I think it's about time we got the kids involved. Now, if we have a new segment on the show, it means we need to give a prize.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough one because I reckon that Dirty 30 one at the start was really, really cool. But I'm going to have to give the prize to Darcy. You made all the rigs, including the caravan on off-grid. I thought that was pretty cool. Jocko and I driving up rocks. So you've won yourself a Snatch gift voucher for $100. So you'll be able to buy some really cool. We've got some cool kid merch on there as well. So you go nuts on there and good luck. Now, before we stop this segment, I reckon we open it up for the kiddos because it's cool seeing the next generation of four-wheel drivers come on board and get so passionate about our show. Let's not just make it Lego, mate. Like, obviously, I've seen birthday cakes come in, that crazy, Jocko Hilux birthday cakes.
Yeah, awesome
drawings, paintings. You guys go nuts. If your kid does something cool, let's just hashtag it, get it up, and we might get a cool prize because I think it's really cool to see the future generation of four-wheel drivers, mate, having a crack.
Big time. Well, mate, this has been an epic and awesome fun business shed down here in Tasmania, beautiful Tasmania, and of course, we've seen some amazing things in 2023, and 2024 is going to be even bigger and better. We're kicking it off with a bang down here in my favourite part in Australia, Tassie.
We've got Moab, mate. We've got so many cool stuff. I did my first ever fishing adventure. You'll get to see that real soon. You've done a bunch of tough driving coming up as well.
Yep, there's some awesome stuff in the big high country.
I say this, and I don't say it lightly. If you think 2023 has been a red hot year for content, wipe the slate clean because you've seen nothing. Trust me when I say this. 2024 is off the absolute hook. So do yourself a favour. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you never miss a second of the action. And I'll take this second as well to thank you for your support over 2023. And I say cheers to 2024, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Bring it on. We'll see you guys next time. We're getting dangerously low on beers. We're going to go back to this. Maybe get a fire going.
You need to put on some long pants, mate.
It's starting to get a bit cold in Tassie. We'll see you around next time for Beers in the Shed.